Welcome to GameSpot stage for E3 2016. I'm Lucy O'Brien from the future. The years have not been kind. I'm joined by Timur Hussein, and also JF and Jonathan. We're going to be talking about Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. So Deus Ex is such an exciting and really interesting stealth game. What are you guys showing off here that's new at E3?
Well, today we're going to show the first map of the game, which is called Dubai. So it's the beginning, exposing the setting, the fantasy of the character Adam Jensen, and like basically establishing the new world that they're going to, where Jensen is going to evolve. And the second map, or the second video we're going to show, is the breach mode, the new gameplay mode that we revealed last week.
Yeah. So what is it that happens in Dubai? How has the world changed since the last time that we saw Adam Jensen?
Well, by the end of Human Revolution, there was a big incident where a lot of augmented citizens went crazy and they turned into zombie mode, should we say, and a lot of people died. And now we're 2 years after those events, and now the dust is settling down a little bit, but there's still a lot of tension. A lot of people from both sides, like naturals, are fearing the augmented citizens, and they're trying to pass laws and segregative laws and put the people in ghettos and stuff like that. And now you have also augmented citizens that are trying to make their voice heard, and they're fighting back. And Adam Jensen is going to be in the middle of this world. Is working now for Task Force 29, which is a subdivision of Interpol, and it's an anti-terrorist group that is trying to bring some peace to the world. And also Adam Jensen's motivation to be in that, it's to do some good, but also he believes that this agency is tied to some people in the shadows, the Illuminati, that are steering the society in a direction that maybe he doesn't agree with, so he wants to stop them.
It's something that you guys compare to apartheid, which of course is a horrible and tragic thing. How do you meld those two things together, both having a powerful and interesting message while also making a fun and interesting game to play?
It's a good question. What we do, first and foremost, we're trying to make a good game. It's a fictional world. We're trying to create an experience that players are going to dig and everything. And after that, we always try to have interesting questions, an interesting theme to explore, so players can be immersed in the world, can have fun with the mechanics and enjoy a great adventure. But at the same time, we put a lot of layers trying to show like the different angles of a subject, and let the players choose by themselves like what they think. Like we try to stay neutral. We're not trying to say this is good, this is bad, this is this, this is that. It's really all about putting the players in the middle of this world and ask them questions and let the players find their own answers.
And I don't think we're comparing it to the apartheid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it this way. I mean, I think by default there is a bit, the moment that you use a term or something that has already been used, maybe by default we can argue that there is a comparison to be made. But I mean, it's not like the will is not to compare it to what has already happened, but what the meaning of an apartheid is a really, really good fit, kind of politically speaking, for what the politics in the game, So that's really what it is, right? And it's a good fit, and it's science fiction. Science fiction's always been about, kind of talking about really serious themes and whatnot in a projected setting, but to kind of get people to think about their current issues and their contemporary world.
We're going to see some of Dubai here, and obviously Dubai itself, as it currently is quite an interesting visual city. What was kind of your approach going into reinventing it for a futuristic sci-fi environment?
Well, our goal with Dubai was to kind of bridge the gap between Human Revolution and Mankind Divided.
That's really what the map is, yeah.
Yeah. And in the last game, the Icarus myth was a big myth that we were using to tell the story of Human Revolution, where augmentations were like the future. It was the bright future, all what we can be. So
Golden Age, Enlightenment.
Exactly.
Big party.
Exactly. And so Icarus, like with his wings, augmentations, trying to fly high, getting too close to the sun, eventually burning his wing and falling into the sea. And now with Mankind Divided, it's kind of like we're ending the Icarus myth by Adam Jensen is in Dubai. It's very black and gold. There's the sunset. And now for his first mission, like we saw a few seconds ago, is jumping down like he's jumping into the sea to start his mission.
It really represents the ending of human revolution.
Exactly.
It's like all the we've had too much fun. We went too far. Now we're just crashing down.
Party's over.
Party's over.
And so that it's kind of foreshadowing what's coming into Mankind Divided, that it's going to be a little bit more darker, and the new art style also is going to what we call corporate feudalism, like where everything is a little bit more, it's based on brutalism and things like that, and it's all about showing that the world is taking a step back and is refusing the new world, or basically the augmented world and everything. So that is to bridge the gap between the two.
Looks like
sets the table.
There's going to be a lot of like conflict happening in this one, because as you say, it's all coming to a head, which must make it really exciting and interesting to create these like stealth scenarios that are kind of avoiding these conflicts and working around them. So what's kind of your like approach to ensuring that people who like to avoid conflict are well catered for in a game that seems to be putting lots of combat into it, or creating clashes between different groups?
Good question. Yeah.
Well, actually, what is important to us is to let the players play the way they want. Like, we have our two primary pillars that are combat and stealth, and we have the secondary modes that are hacking and social. And for us, it's really, really important to make sure that players can play the way they want. And when I say the way they want, it's not just stealth or combat, but it's killing or not killing, or even just totally avoid confrontation at all. So
because you could do stealth and kill.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
And you can be combat and not kill, go and fight and not kill anyone.
Put everybody to sleep and
Exactly.
neutralize them with the Tesla gun and all these kind of things.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we wanted to do with this game, with John, what he just said, the fact that we want to make stealth and combat more intertwined together, in the sense that if you look at Human Revolution, a lot of the tools you had at your disposal, whether it was augmentations or weapons, their behaviors, like let's say some of the stealth ones or the non-lethal one, was kind of forcing you, or was more useful when you were stealthy. But in combat, you would have failed. For Mankind Divided, like you just said, like with the gun arms, now we have, yes, the Nano Blade, that is lethal, but we have the PEPS gun arm, we have the Tesla gun arm, which are totally non-lethal weapons, and you can go in the fray and use them and just knock unconscious people and continue. So you
and
can
go back to your guns if you want to.
Exactly.
Everything is a lot more like wholesome. It's a lot more holistic. This kind of, I call it like the ballet of like going between your AUGs and your weapons, or just staying to your AUGs or whatever, and use them non-lethal or lethal, and everything just kind of intertwines very well, which is a thing we didn't really have in Human Revolution.
Exactly. So it was really important to offer more choices within the same realm of possibilities as Human Revolution.
It just flows so much better.
Yeah.
What kind of choices do you guys make when you play? Do you have a preference for going stealth or for going just all out, guns blazing?
I'm the kind of guy, I'm like the stealthy killer, I guess. I like to just kind of infiltrate, and it's a very kind of Metal Gear Solid approach, right? Just kind of infiltrate, making sure I don't get noticed or whatever, but still kind of take people down, and yeah, that's what I do.
And me, I'm stealthy too, but I'm trying to avoid people as much as I can, and just take down the ones I feel I have to take down, but I don't kill them, and I just breeze my way through, and I explore everything, and making sure that I find all the little secrets, readables, whatever.
See, usually I play quite stealthy, but there's games like, for example, this is not a stealth game, but Mass Effect, but I usually try and play as a Paragon. But then every now and then I encounter a character which I dislike so much that I want to kill.
That's good.
So I bend my rules now and then. And do you kind of, like, as a developer, do you think about that, and do you build that into the game? Do you try and, put in these situations where, we want to try and create a character that kind of upsets the players who would traditionally be kind of docile and try and avoid combat, to get them to engage in other types of systems? Do you think about that?
Well,
Good question.
Yeah, I think our approach is more, first and foremost, what we want is to create interesting characters that you will love to hate, or just love, or maybe
hate to love.
hate to love. And our goal, it's more to create those different characters. And one thing that we always say is that in our world, nothing is black or white. It's all shades of gray. So we're always trying to build complex characters that have good sides, have bad sides, sides, and we're all different human beings, and we don't like all the same stuff. So some characters for you might be like, oh, I want to punch him, but for some other people, no, this person is actually like a good person, and I like her or him for XY reasons, kind of thing.
And that would probably generate what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? By creating good characters, you know, that have like real, well, not real personalities, but like good artificial personalities or whatever. Probably everybody will eventually find someone that's just like, oh, this guy's annoying me so bad.
It's
you know,
like
or-
Frank Pritchard in the last game.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people like were hating him, but some other people, no. When you think about that, it's one of the few characters throughout the entire game that
not-
doesn't lie to you.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
really,
exactly.
he's the guy you can trust.
Yeah.
But he's an asshole.
yeah. Or Wayne Oss, you know, the
Yeah,
police guy, which
yeah.
we all hated because it was so weak and so whiny, and everybody hated him, you know. So yeah, but it wasn't planned that way.
No.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite characters, who I'm wondering is going to whether she make a return, is Letitia the Trash Lady. Do you remember her?
No.
Will she be making a comeback? I really hope she does. She's amazing.
One of my favorite things about games with choice, especially like The Witcher or Mass Effect, or your ability to romance characters as well. You know, that's a way to interact with characters. Is that something you ever thought about introducing in some way into the Deus Ex franchise? Against, you know, make love, not war.
Our fans are so good at creating those romances.
We don't have to.
after the fact, so we don't have to do it. I mean, it just type, you know, Deus Ex Human Revolution fan art. You're gonna see some pretty some good stuff and some horrible.
You want to turn safe switch
Yeah,
on
so-
first.
Yeah, I said do that
Yeah.
first, but sorry, Jeff, go ahead. But, yeah.
What was the question?
Yeah, if we do romance.
No.
things,
Actually, we were. It's something that we discuss and everything, but for the kind of game we're going and the themes that we're exploring, we didn't want to distract and go into directions that in the end, like, it doesn't necessarily helps the purpose of telling the story we want to tell and everything. So we thought about that, but for us it was not necessarily bringing something super important to what we're trying to do, and therefore we didn't do that.
So this is your new Breach mode, right?
Yes, that's Breach. It's a new gameplay mode, and what is cool with that is that we wanted to use the core mechanics of Deus Ex, and we wanted to have a fresh spin on it, like have a new kind of arcade twist where it's just simple, fast running and puzzle solving and everything. And also we wanted to have a fresh look, a different visual style, explore something
kind of
totally new.
a new art direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for us, it was kind of like one of our lines when we develop. It's we want to break expectations, and for us, Breach mode was a way to do that. So it ties, even though it's left field a bit, it's kind of a virtual reality world where corporations are storing their private information and everything, and you play a Ripper, which is kind of a hacker into the virtual world, and they are kind of like the digital era kind of Robin Hoods, and they're trying to really expose the truth about all those corporations to keep the world a better place, to keep those corporations more in line and not abusing of their power and stuff like that. So there's a basic premise and storylines in there that you can unravel, but it's especially built around like the fun gameplay and the pure arcade experience. And there's a social component to it where you can challenge friends, like you can send them a map with different modifiers, different conditions to win the map, and if your friend accepts the challenge and wins, he gets the point and he climbs up in the leaderboard, or if he fails, you get the points and you climb up. So
Yeah, it's really fun. That dual thing is what I really
really
like.
interesting.
And what I really like about Breach as well, because it's more like bite-sized, little kind of gameplay environments and whatnot. And because it's using kind of the same mechanics of the main game, the same kind of augmentations and whatever. What I like is if you're, let's say, like a stealth player, right? When you play Mankind Divided, and you're mostly having a stealth build, right? A stealth Atom. Well, then if you go play Breach, the cool thing is that now you might start indulging into the more offense kind of augmentations and whatnot, and have fun with that without affecting the build you have in the main game. Yeah.
And also, it's our first live mode. We're going to collect the data from players as they play, so we'll be able to fine-tune stuff if needs be. And also, we have extra content that is going to be unleashed after the release of the game, which is nice as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like, introducing this kind of technology, have you guys thought about virtual reality itself? Something that ties both into this world and is a really big theme for 2016.
Yes.
So next question.
But actually, we're going to release a benchmark tool this summer, and it's supposed to come with a virtual reality experience, just like exploring some of the environments of Mankind Divided, kind of as a gift to the fans.
Yeah,
so
it's super cool.
And just being in, it's
crazy. It's
crazy.
more like a museum mode. Like there's no gameplay in it. It's just like 3 environments that you can walk through. But I mean, I'd be totally lying to you guys if I were to tell you that IDOS Montreal doesn't have virtual reality kits and that we haven't played with them or whatever. But I mean, of course, if a developer now doesn't have them, it's kind of something happened. I don't know what. But I'm going to leave it at that for now, for sure.
Well, JF, John, thanks so much for taking the time and walking us through Deus Ex Mankind Divided. And for even more excitement and Deus Ex action here at E3 2016, stay tuned to GameSpot.com.
You're watching the GameSpot stage, brought to you by Airheads.